What's happening, guys? Welcome back. So yet another episode on the Mark 1 Golf, and yeah, unfortunately it is more welding, but we're making progress and we're slowly ticking these jobs off the list, and we're very close now to putting seam sealer and under sealer on the car. So in today's episode we're going to be working on a couple of little bits that don't necessarily need doing, but I want to do. We're going to look at smoothing this slam panel. So I want to get rid of this indent here, maybe, and this indent here. So it's all nice and smooth. That'll then mean we can get a better fixing for the radiator, because this steps down here and the fixing here is not the best. So I'm going to cut some of this out and then we'll raise this line up and it'll give us a bit more land to get a fixing in. That side, not so bad because you've got that hump in it, but we're going to plate that in and then fill it and sand it, so it's all nice. And then there's just this one here which I want to do, but I'm not sure if I'm going to yet or not, but we'll work that out. I think the way that I'm going to do this, I've been weighing up my options. Option one was going to be, wherever we've got to mount the radiator mount, we're going to cut a bit of this away to sort of release a bit, and then we're just going to cut and weld a plate in here, leaving that there, which is okay, but I can't get into paint bits. And the front end, obviously, if it ever did get driven in the rain, which it hopefully won't, was going to take the brunt of water. So I've decided that I've marked it out. I'm going to make a new piece, and we will make a new piece and cut all this out, weld a complete new piece in, and all we've got to do is try and match that radius. There we go then. Really didn't take that long. We've got a nice radius on that, which matches. And the way that I've got a bigger radius on the folder is you just wind these up so that you've got more of a gap and it opens like that. And it's not as tight of a radius, and you can play, and yeah, the more, obviously, the higher the bolts are, the more that's going to angle, which is going to give you a bigger radius, which is what we've achieved with that. So we'll get this offered in now and start, get it on, start cutting some bits out, and then we can use the clamps that I was using when I was doing the rest of the car to clamp it all in place, tacked in, and then move on to the other side. There we go, made, cut out, offered in, magnetised in place, and it's sitting flush everywhere it needs to. It's absolutely bang on. I have painted the underside in Weld 3 primer. We can still get to it, which we will obviously be sanding and prepping it, properly priming it. But that is now ready to tack in. That's that side done. Right, that is that piece in and done. Bit of filler on that, she'll be absolutely sound. Radius matches pretty damn well. We've still got the ridges and lips and things that we want in it. I don't want it all to be too smooth, it still wants to sort of look factory, but yeah, bit on there. Next one we'll move on to is that side. Right, there's that piece cut out, and obviously the old piece cut out as well. We've got a bit of a straight edge across here to try and get it all sitting in the correct place. A bit low at the minute, but yeah, we'll lift it up. We've got this form here to try and put into it as well, similar to this, which then tapers off a bit. It's completely it's different to that side. This one is only to sort of here, and then it falls off. This one, we've got this hump, but we'll try and make that fall off and look something similar. And we're going to try and replicate these radius as well. Going to be a bit of pulling and whatever to get it right, but I have faith we'll get it done. So yeah, roll on with that. There we go. We've got both sides done. I'm not 100% happy. We're going to have to put a little bit of filler in to just blend that a little bit better. A little bit of filler along there. But grand scheme, it tidies that scuttle up no end. And it looks a hell of a lot better. Now there's an indent there. That's for the stops for the bonnet. There's a little indent there. And a little indent there. And then that one there for the bump stop again. Or the stops. I didn't want to go going too crazy with it. I don't want to lose everything, because I think if you go too far, like if we're going deleting all of this slot and everything out of the engine bay, I think it'd be too much. It still wants to look sort of right, if you like. It don't want to be too smooth, but I think that just tidies that up and looks a bit better. That's that slam panel done and looking a hell of a lot better. I think smoothing out them few bits I've done just sort of tidies it up. I have been thinking should have just have welded the holes up, left the indents in, but no, I'm happy with what it is. I've removed the everything for the bonnet, stay, and all of those bits as well. I'm going to be putting it on bonnet struts, I think, just because, again, it just helps tidy the slam panel up a little bit. But it looks good, and I think it was well worth it. And it was good practice to get my head back into, metalwork. And I've got to say, I feel a lot more confident in it now. I'd like to go back and do a lot of the things that I did to the car at the very beginning. But yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I've learnt a lot, and this is better metalwork than I've done on the rest of the car, but that's the part of the process of learning to weld when you're doing a project. So the next thing we're going to move on to is chassis notching. Now, I want to chassis notch it because I do aim on putting the car on air ride, and chassis notching means that the drive shaft, instead of hitting the chassis rail, it gives it more clearance to come up on an angle, so when the wheel goes up, it won't hit the chassis and it won't damage it or anything like that. Now, I cut the hole out. I've cut a piece of tube, which we're going to use to weld back into it to strengthen the chassis back up. That then, I offered the piece in and drew round it with a Sharpie, right, a bit wobbly, drew round it with a Sharpie to cut out the piece that I need to, which I believe is the bit with my thumb on. We're going to cut that piece out. Now, had this in the vise, was cutting the shape out that I needed, and that can stay on the floor, and the angle grinder decided to jump off the metal, jump out of my hand, and cut my hand open. Yeah, that doesn't look as bad as it could, but the disc cut my ring finger on my right hand open, and you could see the tendons inside, which was absolutely delightful. So yeah, decided it'd probably be best to go up to the hospital. So I jumped in the car. Mrs. took me up to Rugby Hospital. Absolutely amazing people. Great service, do you call it? But yeah, sorted me out. Really nice, really helpful. Got a bit of a phobia of hospitals and things, having spent time in there as a kid. Put me at ease, sorted me out. Sat there with tweezers picking metal out of my finger, which was not the nicest of things. X-rayed it, cleaned it out. Were happy that there wasn't anything too bad. They were talking at the beginning about possibly sending me to Coventry to see a plastic surgeon, which was a bit... Oof. But anyway, yeah, cleaned it out, was all right. Put some stereo strips on it, bit of glue, dressing on it, pretty much sent me on my way. So yeah, grinders are not are not toys. And I'll get comments saying, why did you not have the guard in it? If you had the guard in it, it wouldn't have done it. Having the guard in it wouldn't have made a difference. It was the bottom that was open that caught me. It wouldn't have made a difference if I had the guard in or not. Although, got chatting to the wife and said, I might treat myself to a battery grinder because they've got a stop. As soon as you take your finger off the trigger, they stop. And then this little badger turned up in the post. So she's bought me a Milwaukee grinder with a couple of 5-amp batteries because it pretty much stops when you take your finger off. And I've not got any annoying leads or anything, so thank you very much, Abigail, for the nice little present, early Christmas present. But yeah, that's that done. I'm annoyed because we're making some good progress and I was really enjoying getting on, but yeah, can't really do anything. I'm gonna get told off by the wife riding my phone with my hand as well, but it's the other fingers. But yeah, I'm not really allowed to do anything with my hand. I'm probably gonna go back now, sit down and put it up. But yeah, that's what's happened. I'll be back as soon as I can. Hopefully it'll be next week at some point. But yeah, go chill out, rest, and then be more careful next time. So yeah, we'll leave that on there then, guys. Until next time, enjoy. Can't bend my fingers.